I'm ready. I'm ready when you are.
All right, sounds good. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Scots on the Run podcast, where we take a behind-the-scenes look at what's happening in the Gordon College cross-country and track and field programs. In this episode, we're recapping the Brown Bear Invitational in Attleboro, Massachusetts. Josef Schultz is with us. He'll be joining us in just a moment to recap his performance. But first, as always, Coach Miela is here as well. How are you?
I'm good. We aim to be honest on this podcast, which we will be today. A little stressed. It's a lot, man. You know, we're hosting a meet, even though we're not competing. This will be the third meet we've hosted in about 5 weeks because we've got our community 5K coming up this Saturday, which we talked about last time, which you will be running.
Yes.
Let me throw it back at you. How are you feeling about your race in a couple days?
I'm a little nervous. I'm not going to lie.
Why are you nervous?
Well, because I tapped in for a couple of thousand repeats yesterday,
Yeah.
and hit the pace that I wanted to, but it took more out of me than I was hoping.
So there's nothing to be nervous about.
I know. I'm just
trust the trainer,
I know
brother.
I know what I have to do to reach my goals. I don't know. You never know how it's going to go until you get out there on the course.
I am sure the thrill of race day will overcome you at the Scot Trot at Gordon's homecoming.
Yeah. I only get one race day a year now, so it's
and so that's even more adrenaline.
It makes even more pressure
that's what I'm saying.
on me to make sure I deliver.
Plus, you ran this course last year.
I did, yes.
I know we're going to bring Joe. We want to bring Joe in already, but I'm kind of getting us on a tangent just to start here. What do you think of our course, of our 5K, our community 5K course?
It's nice. It's very smooth, and I think we've got a good loop. You don't have to go back into the hills and in the woods section.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So yeah, it should be pretty fast.
Yeah, there's nothing super intimidating about that course, and I've gotten a lot of positive feedback from it. I think a lot of people on our team would like to race that. Do you know the Scot Trot course?
I think so. I believe it's just go around the quad, then go completely behind Coy.
Around goal. We go around goal.
And then around goal and then Coy.
Yep.
And then you go behind the hill. Mm-hmm. And then you go through Chapel Loop around Wilson.
Yep.
Between where Lewis used to be in Chase, and then around the quad again.
Correct. What would you think about running that course? You think you run a pretty good 5K on that course?
I think so. I think I'd run it pretty well, considering there's no extra hills at the end. Actually, no, there's no hills second up. Shoot, I was thinking of AK. I was thinking of AK first.
Yeah.
Probably. I mean, there's nothing major within that whatsoever. I mean, it is pretty tight if you...
Yeah.
There's some tight areas where... I mean, I haven't run in a pack in a while in a 5K, but if there is, that would stretch people out. And then I feel like the end could sometimes get a little confusing of you can kind of see the finish, but you still have a decent amount left.
Yeah, you got another 600 to go.
Like you could probably see the finish from the chapel lot, and you still got... Even from then.
Yeah.
So that could also be a little bit of a mental thing, but it's not that bad.
For sure. No, that's a good point. Yeah, the whole last mile, you can almost you probably hear the people cheering in the distance. Like you can feel it coming, but you got to stay focused that last third of the race. But
exactly.
Let's bring it back to your race this past Saturday. We were down in Attleboro for the Brown Bear Invitational. I thought you raced really well. I thought right from the start, it seemed like you had a different focus. Tell us more about just your race overall on Saturday.
I think my race overall went really well. I mean, my focus before the race was it was a completely different attitude than most of the other races. Most of the other races, I'm just trying to get focused. This race, I just felt focused in general. I didn't even feel stressed really. I felt really relaxed, and I think you could see that going in the first mile, which even for me, I thought was a little hot, but at the same time, it helped me get the time that I did. I think it did affect the mental barrier though a little bit. Like I got out a little bit too hot, but then I think then there was a second mile here was like what I wanted to. Then third and fourth, it was kind of okay. Do I fully know the course well enough to know where the mile markers are? Because I know you guys are saying out like the K times, but it was a combined K time, and I wasn't really paying attention to that.
Yeah, right. Yeah, you're not dividing.
I'm not doing that. I wasn't doing that in my head at all. So I was like, what is okay, great. That's great. What was it before? I don't know.
Right.
So that wasn't really marking my pace. It's only one really... And I tried not to look at my watch that much. I kind of only looked at it.
Sorry, go ahead.
What?
I just can't believe you're saying that. I remember we were watching him finish.
No,
you checked your watch like 3 or 4
times.
times.
In the middle part, I tried not to look at the watch, but then and I was only looking at it when it buzzed.
Okay.
But then after the 4th mile, it was okay. Like, I know I have.
You're putting together a
more
good
left.
race.
It's like, okay, where's the 1K?
Yep.
Like, where's the 1K mark at a slight increase?
Yeah.
And it was like still a mix of increasing here, but then like get past these people, then slow it off a little bit, then increase just to get by some, slow it off a little.
Sure.
And then it was check the watch, right where the little valley was, where it gets like and that's when I realized, okay, I have 90 seconds to get a PR.
Yeah. I gotta get.
And then I got just wet.
Well, we were remember watching him. You came over like this hill, like, or you kind of emerged. And we're like, there's Joseph. And he's like, okay, check this watch. Okay, yeah, but like, you got 50 meters to go. I'm telling you, the last 50 meters, you checked your watch 3 or 4 times, man.
I know.
I was like, Joe, like, just get to the finish line. We'll tell you what the time is when you get there, man.
No.
Yeah. It was kind of funny, but, a couple other things. So I wanted to ask you, you have a nickname that you shared with us at the beginning of the season. Is it the Silent Assassin? The Quiet Assassin?
It was just the assassin.
The assassin.
There wasn't a quiet or silent within it.
Okay, sorry. My apologies.
It's okay. I mean, the person who gave it to me, it definitely was the American Sniper, and then he changed it to the assassin, and then he still goes back of, it was never the American Sniper. It was always the assassin. So, just kind of the way he is, so...
Well, and now, so I've heard the story as, like, how, like, I know you're, like, basically, it was your previous coach gave you that nickname, right?
Yeah, my high school soccer coach gave me that.
So, but I'm curious your thoughts. I don't think I've asked you this specifically. Why do you think that's a good nickname for you, or do you think it's a good nickname for you?
The first one's a little tough because I don't think I ever thought about why it was a good nickname or not. I kind of just asked him, and his reasoning was a little interesting. But I think it is a good nickname because I think sometimes I kind of just do things without saying and stuff, or I'll just like, how do I think about it? Like sometimes like I'll quickly process and then commit, but then sometimes I won't share with other people, or other people will like underestimate me a little bit, and then which I feel like at first can be a little underestimate until like a workout or race occurs, and then it's oh, this is what he can actually do. Like, don't mess around with him, or don't take him for granted, because I can definitely see it thinking back to soccer, because technique is a lot and ability on the ball, but that can't really be shown, and one of the things that you first see is physical size, and my natural physical size is below average, just to put it that way.
A little smaller, a little shorter, sure. Yeah.
And I feel like that's one of the main things people see, and it's how people, I feel like that can give just a general presence.
Yeah.
And I feel like sometimes I'm like, oh, I'm mixing soccer thoughts with running thoughts at the same time.
I'm sure,
Because I feel like
right.
soccer thoughts, the way I play is not the, like, when people are shorter in stature, they're also, like, very quick and will dribble the ball a lot. And, like, are really good at attacking one-on-ones, which was not my skill set. It was more of the playing the ball in behind and finding the right time, right pass. It was more of that skill set. Well, in running, I feel like I'm, in general, quieter as well, and so I don't end up speaking up in the big groups, but yet I'll still take some decisive actions.
Sure. Well, I was going to say, you definitely, I think you run like an assassin, like you run like somebody who's kind of lurking in the shadows, and then you always finish really well. I think you take some pride, from what I can tell after, having you here the last year and a half. I think you take some pride in passing a lot of people in that last mile, that last 1,000. And I really do love that about you. I also wanted to ask you, I just said, you've been here a year and a half, and the team dynamics are really strong this year, but what's been your favorite memory? It could be from this year or just the last year and a half, this as you start your sophomore season.
Just like from the team in general?
Well, it could be team in general. I'd like to hear your best team memory, but if you got another memory on campus, I'd like to hear that too,
Immediately my head went towards spring break. That's my head generally went to the direction of spring break.
Yeah.
Also, it's going to either the conference race and track or the Connecticut College race and track. Those two are some of the good memories that I think I had.
And that's actually, I also wanted to say that we were just talking about your nickname. One time you didn't run like an assassin, or like to your nickname was that conference race, because you kind of just you said, hey, I'm just going to go out and I'm going to run this race. You didn't kind of hang back and try to get people at the end. You didn't try to surprise people like you have in the past. You just went for it. I guess that's more of the, I don't know. I don't know if that's a sniper version of you or what, but it was certainly. I really did. I wanted to make sure I mentioned that. But any other memories you wanted to share from your time here?
Oh, I think another good memory was when we went to regionals just the day before, traveling with the cross country guys and really having. Those are always fun memories.
Yeah.
Just traveling with the team where, like, you're off campus, so there's a little bit of, like, it's not the same type.
Feels different,
It feels different being off campus, and then also, like, you just get to relax and hang out with a good group of guys at night, which I feel like sometimes can be lost.
Yep.
Especially when you're not in an apartment where there's not just, like, the guys you're always around there, and then also considering, like, I feel like sometimes there's stuff going on weekends, like weekend nights, but also there's a good amount of times there's not. And I feel like there just hasn't been enough where, like, okay, here's like a group of guys that just go hang out with, like, on the weekend or like Friday night, and that just felt really great to be able to do that.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Well, you mentioned spring break, and then you mentioned taking overnight trips. Are you excited about spring break coming up? Are you going on?
Oh,
You're going on, right? Yeah. I mean, I just think because last year we stayed on campus. And I thought like you said, I thought we had a good time because it was just the team. It was pretty much us training, having a good time. And then this upcoming year, we're going down to Myrtle Beach, and it should be a good time. I mean, I'm very excited to get down there and be down there with the whole team. I mean, it's going to be a big group, so I'm sure there'll be plenty of things to make me nervous when we're down there. But we should probably talk a little bit about the races a little bit before we go, huh?
Yeah, well, Joseph, on a week, I know you're coming off of Pop Crowell, where I think you got out to a pretty good start and then faded towards the end. And then in this race, we had a course that I think was a lot hotter and a lot slower than we were expecting. I know several runners were a little bit disappointed with dropping some time, or adding some time, I guess I should say, onto what they ran in Pop Crowell. But you ended up running almost a couple of minutes faster, leading our men's team home. So a good race from your part, and obviously we just talked about that a little bit. But yeah, Coach, I guess what else stood out to you from this past Saturday?
Well, you just brought up a good point. Joe, what do you think made the difference for you? I'm sorry, I know I'm kind of bouncing back and forth here, but because I thought you brought up a good point. Yeah, like some people struggled to improve on their marks from 2 weeks prior. You were the only one on our team to actually make a significant jump forward. What do you think the difference was for you?
I think the main difference was a mental shift in focus. I think there was a clearer mind going into the race. I remember waking up the morning of Pop Crowell with just like the feeling of acid in my stomach and just nervousness just straight away. And I know that stayed even through the warm-up of that race, which I know definitely impacted how I did, because I think part of the reason I faded was because of hydration, because how the morning went, I couldn't really eat or drink much at all.
Sure.
And I think that was just mainly because of the mental aspect of how that morning went. But mentally on Saturday, Brown Bear, it was so clear. I mean, I feel like I don't know what I thought about on the van ride down. It didn't seem to be that much. I don't remember even like putting in my own music. It was just kind of just like this empty headspace of just thinking about the race, but also it wasn't daunting to think about the race, which I think helped. And then it was, even beforehand, like, I was able to chat with people that, like, with music on, and, like, I felt great before the race, which normally doesn't happen, because normally there's some anxiousness or nerves going into it, but I didn't really have that at all.
Yeah. No, that's good, and it's a testament to just your mindset going into a race, because obviously the last 2 weeks, you certainly 2 weeks of training that will make a difference, but I don't think it's going to make as big of a difference as you saw, right? Between your last race and this race, I think it does go to show like you got to shaking the rust off in your first race, you come back a little bit more focused, and actually, I think you're a testament to what I kind of wanted to say about the group as a whole, to your what you were talking about, Ben, how there's a lot of people who on our team, we had a lot of people who were disappointed in how they raced, and I think overall, like I said at the beginning, it's like we want to be honest. Like this was not the best day of racing for Gordon's cross country, history, right? However, I think great teams learn how to bounce back, and great teams learn how to, or rather, I guess that's just it. Is a great team learns from a bad performance and they get better. And I fully believe that with the disappointment that was obvious across the board, for a lot of people, there's a difference between disappointment and then I guess losing confidence. We didn't lose any confidence. I don't know if Joe would agree or not, but from my sense as the coach and what I'm picking up from the team is we're taking away a lot of things. We're disappointed in how we ran. A lot of people are, but I think we're still confident that we have a lot more in the tank. Now, what would you say that's? I don't know. How do you feel about that, Joe?
Yeah, I think the workouts have definitely shown us that there is more and that we shouldn't lose any confidence because, our workout yesterday was about the same, weather-wise as that race, just without the hills, obviously.
Sure.
But it was still I'd say it's similar to how all courses are going to be, and you occasionally are going to get that warmer day. And even then, we were still able to run pretty well. So I think the confidence there should be no lack of confidence. I feel like, especially with the next race being Connecticut College, where it's a course where just attack and go, and you will do great.
Yep.
So as long as you have full confidence on that course, especially, everyone should see a huge difference. Like, what we've done is actually working, and it's getting us a whole lot better, and that would be the race to show us and
for sure
bring us into confidence well.
For sure. Yeah, and I think the men's team, it was really good to see that pack working together. I was at the 3K mark, which is also the 5K mark. So through 3K, obviously you were running well, so you were ahead of the pack, but the pack was sticking together pretty much through 3K. And it was really good to see just those guys working together, and that's what's been exciting for our group, that group in particular, all year, right? Is that somebody's going to have a good day, and the rest of them can kind of rely on each other. Hudson was running a great race. He just couldn't quite, again, the heat kind of got to him at the end. It was great to see PJ Hank and Aaron both had great races as well. And again, it was great to see that pack work off of each other and to have a different order, like we talked about in the last podcast. I think we're probably going to have a different order of our top 7 every race, which is pretty exciting for the men's team. I did want to say on the women's side, Molly Burkhart had a great race. I was really proud of how she ran. I think she was just 10 seconds, something like that, off of her personal best, which again, if you looked at the entire field was about 30 to 45 seconds off of their personal best. So that's certainly saying something that she was able to put together a good race. And
25:52 was her time. Yep.
And I think her PR is 25:43. I think she ran at Pop Crowell. I can't remember, but Kaylee Betez, she got back to it. I think that's her first race of the season. It's great to see her back at it. And Jasmine, again, if you give Jasmine another 30 seconds or so, based off of how the field did, her time actually wasn't too bad either. So, like I said, certainly a lot of people wanted to race better, but we still have a lot to learn from and a lot to grow from, and I think we're confident we can get there.
Yeah, 25:42, Molly's
cool
Pop Crawl time. Your Pop Crawl time, Joseph, was 30:14, but that's a 6:04 mile split. And then I had the Brown Bear results pulled up here, if I can scroll back to where you are. So yes, 28:32, which is a 5:44 mile split. So you were 20 seconds faster per mile on Saturday than you were Pop Crawl, which I guess just speaks to, again, like you were saying, the difference in how you're feeling going into each of those meets. But again, like I said, I still think it's remarkable that in a race where the trend was everybody was losing a few seconds at minimum, your pace was where it was. I think that's very admirable. So well done.
Well, it was the best race you ran ever. It was the best time you ever ran. Even if it's just by a few seconds still. It's pretty impressive. And like you said, confident and excited about what's to come for sure.
Well, speaking of what's to come,
I
don't know. Are we going to do a show next week? Am I going to?
I don't know.
Am I going to have to sit in that chair because I'm going to be the only one to with the
you
race
know
to
what?
recap?
We should interview you next week. That should be fun. Actually, we have Carolyn Day, Rachel Brennan
That's true,
competing
yes.
tomorrow, which this usually do a good job turning us around in a day. So by the time this is released, it'll be tonight.
Later tonight, yeah.
Yeah. But they're running a night race at Pre-Nationals on October 5th. Yeah, so that's... Or no, October 4th. Excuse me. That's Friday night. And I'm excited for them to get that opportunity, and I'm excited to see what they can do. So, were you going to say something?
Yeah, no, that's great. So they've got their race coming up, I guess, for everybody listening later tonight.
Yep.
And then tomorrow,
Tomorrow will be the
Saturday
Scot
for
Trot.
me will be the Scot Trot, yeah. So
And then
we'll see.
And so we'll see how the weekend goes. It should be fun for everybody. For the girls out there in Indiana, they're like I said, so they're pre-nats, so that's going to be Terre Haute, Indiana, and then Scot Trot is right on the Gordon Quad, start and finish. Be there, 10 a.m.
Yes.
See Ben Schneider run sub 21. You got that. You got that, man.
I guess I have to now, right?
It's out in the airwaves, the podcast airwaves. It has to happen.
All right. Well, hopefully we'll make it happen, and
Yeah.
we'll be back next week to talk about it. So thank you all for listening, and we'll see you on the next episode.